All right, back again for another NAL Live. Today, look at this. We got our first player. First player ready to go from the Orlando Predators, Brandon Fuentes. How's it going, Brandon?
Good, man. Good. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Hopefully everybody be safe out there, have some fun. Hopefully we can get past this crappy year and I'm excited because I'm looking forward to the 2021 NAL season. It's like, man, I love arena football so much. Can't wait to see you guys out there, on the field. So thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so this is fun. I mean, the whole purpose of NAL Live is to kind of just, introduce players, coaches, front office, owners to the fans. I mean, I think the more personal touch that we all can have with each other, just makes that experience at the arena so much better. And everyone's got a story, right? I mean, just us talking beforehand, there's some good stories there. And I've been around the block, so there's just a lot of cool things, and a lot of things are intertwined. So the whole purpose is like, let's give the fans something different. And so probably for the first, I don't know, probably the first half of the year doing this show, it's going to be formatted like this, where it's like, let's get to know you and kind of, walk through your journey, because I don't think a lot of people realize what it takes to get to the NAL, let alone the NFL, right? And so it's like, this gives them a little bit of a glimpse of the sacrifices that you have to make, and how frustrating and just mental. You have to be able to take it mentally. I mean, getting cut, especially when you're doing great, or you feel you're doing great, other people are telling you. And I always hear it too, man, you're so good, but I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
Well, damn it, no, don't.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
So that's part of the journey, and it'll be an inside look. And I'm excited to kind of get to know some of the players from around the league. I've been out of it a few years, so I don't know the new batch of players coming in.
Right.
Last night I had Coach Keefe on, and I know you were up there in camp with him, and he spoke very highly of you. So we'll get to that towards the end. But fans that are out there, remember to comment, post. We'll have questions for Brandon. We'll make sure he gets to them. But let's have some fun with the show tonight. And Brandon, let's just start off with give us your journey. Where are you from, and walk us through your playing and life.
All right. Well, again, my name's Brandon Fuentes. I'm from a little town called Avon, New York, upstate New York, about an hour from Buffalo, and about 25 minutes outside of Rochester. Small town, like 7,500 people. I'm sure there's more cows than there are people. Had a good high school career. Went from, high school, went out to play in University of Mount Union for a year. Then transferred from there to St. John Fisher College back home, D3 school in my city, and played 3 years there. Had a good college career.
How'd you like Mount Union when you were out there? I mean, that's out my area, Canton, Ohio. They're a powerhouse.
They are.
They put some players out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. They heavily recruit, so I think I came in with over 100
roster.
Yeah, I came in with over 100 other freshmen. We had 2 full JV teams, a full varsity team, and I think from the freshman class to senior class, so the seniors when I was there, I think there was only 7 seniors, and that's with bringing in 100 kids every year. So there's a lot of turnover there, a lot of the guys upperclassmen were I mean, you aren't really going to get a true opportunity for a few years. And I like to play. I didn't want to sit on the bench for 2 years, and only play maybe 1 to 2 years. So I transferred back to Fisher, played 3 years there. I love Fisher. It's a great school, great community. They had a really good business program, and that was my major. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to go back home. And so from that point, like I said, I had a good career there. And then
what'd you play there?
I played a little bit of everything, but my primary position was corner. But I did kick returns, punt returns. I was also our starting punter, and then I had a package at receiver on offense my senior year as well.
So how'd you do punting? Did you punt like high school, or were they just like, shit, we don't have a punter?
Well, kind of both. So I punted in high school, and like my senior year, we didn't really have a punter. So they are like, obviously doing tryouts for punter and stuff like that. So they changed to like a rugby style punt. So we'd get in like the max punt formation, and then I would roll out to punt it. But I loved it. I had a good time with it, and had some big plays as a punter, believe it or not. So
nice.
yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
Did you end up getting your degree there?
I did. Okay. Actually, it ended up being like 3 years later. So I think it was the fall of 2019. I finally finished my degree. I went back and was coaching there, actually coaching the DBs, and I finally finished it up. So
nice.
Yeah.
It's something good to, go back and get, especially, you never know how the football thing's going to work out.
Exactly.
So that education is great. So,
100%.
So Fisher is in Rochester, or where's that? That's up there somewhere, right?
Yeah, East Rochester.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's too cold, man. I don't know how you could do it.
I mean, now when I go back, I'm like, oh my God, it's freezing. I'm not used to it because yeah, I've been in Florida now for like 5 years, so I'm not used to those, cold winters. So now when it gets to like 40s, 50s here, I'm like, yeah, I need a jacket.
So what were you doing? Like, so you got done playing, like, was football still on your mind? Were you like, hey, I'm gonna, I'm looking to get drafted, or I'm looking to sign as a free agent?
Well, I knew from a very young age that football is what I wanted to do. I think I was like 5 or 6, and I was telling my parents and my dad, I was like, I want to play in the NFL one day. I want to play for the Bills. I'm a diehard Bills fan. I always have been. It's just kind of ingrained in the culture if you're from upstate New York. So yeah. I said when I was 6 years old that that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. So, I mean, everything I've done along the way in my life is kind of like try to set myself up for that. So it is something that I wanted to do. So after my senior year, I think I played in 3 All-Star games. 2 were Division I, Division II, and a couple Division III players, and did well, excelled in those games, and talked to a couple NFL scouts, but nothing really materialized right after. So that's when I kind of made the decision to move from upstate New York down to Florida to train full time and really chase my dream.
So who's Larry here? Because that's looks like the same last name. So it says Beast of the East.
Yeah, he's talking about Fisher, Beast of the East.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's my pops.
That's your pops. All right. Hey, pops. How's it going? Is he up in the cold weather right now?
Oh yeah. Yep.
What I like about it is I'm from Pennsylvania, so my family's up there. So the cool thing is when it snows, I can just look at Facebook and see my parents post or whatever. Yep. But I don't have to worry about that. And Rochester gets a whole nother batch of snow. So
yeah, it's nice being away from it, because if you want it, you can go visit, get it for a few days, maybe a week, and then you're right back out of it. So
yep. So you ended up moving down here. What kind of was that for a specific reason? Was that solely to train? Was there a job, a girl, like what?
No girl, but no, my dad actually, he's always wanted my dream for me as much as I've wanted it for myself, and I love him for that. I've always had a really supportive family and parents who will do anything to, help me make my dream come true. And he's always doing research, like looking up the best places to train, and he's just looking online. And he called me up one day and he's like, hey, I got this place. Like, I called him. It seems like a great opportunity. Ike Taylor runs like the defensive backs training. And I was going to be working with Tom Shaw at ESPN Wide World of Sports in Orlando. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I think 3 days later I moved full time just to, chase my dream. So that's pretty much why I moved down here. And I just fell in love with the city, fell in love with, there's a lot of culture down here too. And I've just, made a family down here. So
I really like the diversity that Central Florida has. I've got a mixed family, and I want my kids to be around, just diverse, and it's international here, which is great. My son's got a lot of kids from Brazil that are in his school, and just all over. And it just I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I know Dylan here is asking where I was from, Pennsylvania. I went to like almost like an all white school,
Mm-hmm.
just out in the
Yep.
country, and
Same.
you know, I was kind of sheltered in that sense. So like,
Yeah.
just given that diversity, I love Central Florida, the weather,
Mhm.
um, and I mean, it's a great place to train because you can really train year round,
Yes,
inside,
absolutely.
outside, and it's just better on your body, I think, too, than that cold. At least me getting old now, I feel like all
Yeah.
my injuries come out when I go up there.
Yeah. Absolutely. For sure.
So you ended up training at Disney's place,
Yeah. Yep. Tom Shaw Performance.
and then at what point did you kind of get that first opportunity? Did you start going to tryouts? Did you have a agent?
Um, at the time, I did not.
Okay.
So, um, I think it was 2017, like the winter going into the spring of 2017, and just looking around for tryouts and stuff. I didn't get any looks coming out of college really. I talked to a couple scouts at some of the bowl games I played in. And saw one for the High Country Grizzlies in the NAL, which is in North Carolina, and was like, all right, let's do it. My dad helped me get out there, went with me to it, and that was really my first professional tryout that I had, and did well. I think I had 7 interceptions
Oh,
at the workout, so I did well. And it was funny because they had guys that had already signed with the team there to like help with the workout and stuff, and I had receivers that had already signed with the team, like, all right, I want to go against you. I want to go against you. So it was a really confidence booster for me at the same time, and that's when like my professional career really started. Was getting recruited.
was that like a free agent workout? Like you just paid and went to it, or?
Yeah, it was just an open workout that they had. You paid, you went to it, and if they liked what they saw, they signed you. And it was actually freezing cold that day. I think it was probably like 35 degrees, if that. I think there was like snow on the ground, and we had to run, obviously, do like the combine drills and stuff. So it was funny, like to see guys running 40s in that freezing, because obviously you don't want to pull a hamstring or anything. But
Were guys
uh,
still stripping down into their tights just to run the 40?
I'm sure a few
Probably a
still
few.
did. I don't really remember, but I mean, yeah, I mean, you want to be as light as possible.
Yeah. When you go to those workouts, are you one of those guys? Like, do you strip down into like, your tights and
Yeah,
that's it?
I am.
You
I
know?
am one of those guys.
Does that
Yeah.
really help? Does it?
I think it does. I've always told
Okay,
myself it does. So
it's good.
I think it's a superstitious thing more than anything. But I mean, as light as you
Or,
want to be, the better. Huh?
what kind of 40 time are you running?
The fastest time I've ever clocked was a hand or a laser 448. Hand time, I mean, a little lower, but or a little higher, yeah, but 448.
Nice. Nice. Well, I think I get a lot of emails, a lot of messages like,
Mhm.
"Hey, how can I get on the team, or how can I get on this team? How can I be seen?" Even just from starting NAL Live, get players that hit
Right.
me up. I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
listen, the best thing to do is go to a tryout. I get it; it costs $50. Do
Right.
you believe in yourself enough?
Right. Absolutely.
Then go, because if if the coaches aren't calling you, there's a reason, right? It's either you're not good or they don't know you.
Right.
And most of the time is they don't know you.
Hmm.
And so, like perfect example with you, that's how you got on the radar.
Yep.
And you just go out there and you perform, and sometimes you don't do well or whatever, and you can at least gauge and see where you're at. And
Exactly.
I think I've had guys try out for teams I've had like multiple years, and then finally it's like, man, they really developed and
Right.
and made it. So um but I think that's important for guys. Just show up to
Hmm.
the tryouts. It's like, stop being
Exactly.
big time where like, you're not going to go to a workout because you're too big time. Like, you got to
Right.
do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Um,
and at the end of the day, you never know who's watching, and you never know who knows people. So say you go to that workout and you absolutely kill it, maybe one of those coaches has connections at a higher level and could be like, hey, this guy shouldn't be here. You guys need to take a look at him, So you never know who's watching. And that's something my dad always said. So
Dylan asks, when you kind of felt, at what point in your career you felt you could play, at college and above, was it in high school? Was it?
I think, like I said, it's always been my dream, but I think I didn't really come to it didn't come to probably I would say like my junior year going into my senior year. I had a good junior year, played receiver. And then my off season junior year going into my senior year, I went to camps all over the country with my dad. Like some of the top camps that had guys that are going to like SEC schools. So I really prepared myself going into my senior year. And in the first game my senior year, we were playing this team called York. And I think we were down 12-6 at halftime. And in the first half, they had like bracketed someone over me and someone over the top. So wasn't really seeing much. And then my coaches put me in the backfield, and I ran for 241 yards on 6 touches for 3 touchdowns. And I think from that point on, like I continued to have a really, really good senior year. I ended up being first team all state and had, colleges come in and see me from like all over the country. So I think that at that point was when I was like, all right, I can really do this.
So tell me more about your pops. Did he play? Did he coach? Like, was he just a supportive parent? Like,
all of the above. So
yeah. Was he the crazy parent on the sideline?
Yes and no. I mean, he's reserved, but obviously, there's definitely points where he gets vocal. But he coached me ever since I was little and young. And yeah, see, you got to believe it to achieve it, and that's something he always said. And
Positive, I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, so he coached me ever since I was little, and not just football, but he coached me in basketball, baseball. And he played when he was young. I think he didn't play football until his senior year at high school. He originally played soccer, was getting offers for, D1 to play soccer as a goalie. But something happened and he ended up switching to play football his senior year and ended up breaking all the high school's records and went on to play at Brockport State. So football's just always been in the blood. And he then obviously tried to play professionally, went at CFL workouts, almost played in the lockout year way back in the day, but he ended up tearing everything in his knees. So he went a different route, but now he is
but then he took all that knowledge and passion and kind of brought it to you, which is cool to see. It's definitely cool to have that support system,
right.
Especially, because it's so up and down. Like I said, I don't think a lot of the fans realize how, man, it's stressful. And it's like, man, 1 minute you're riding high, man, I had a great workout, and then you find out you didn't get signed right then, or whatever. There's so many setbacks. So,
and I think like a lot of people don't realize that most of the journey isn't even physical or the athletic part. It's the mental part, because so many guys, like I always say, if you don't have it up here mentally, you can never have it physically, because that's where it all starts. And so many people either don't truly believe in themselves, have the confidence, or a lot of guys will walk away right before that door's about to open. So you just gotta keep chugging along.
So when you went up there, you kind of lit up the open workout. Mm-hmm. So what happens next?
They signed guys right there on the spot right after the workout. So I signed a contract to play with them for the 2017 season, and then went back to Florida, just trained until the season started, then went out there and hey, what's good, coach?
Take it back to him. All these guys.
Coach Rez was the head coach for the Grizzlies when I was there. Great guy, great dude, great coach. Very knowledgeable. He's been in the arena game for a while.
So he signs you on the spot?
Yeah, they did.
So when you were
the whole staff, they had the whole staff there. So
did you know like what like, did you know the compensation and stuff like that beforehand? Like, were you like thinking, okay, this is a big payday, or like you knew?
I mean, I knew that, like, I knew enough of the AFL and the other arena leagues to know that it was a first-year league. And, you're not really playing arena football for the money. You're playing for the opportunity to elevate yourself to a higher level and because you love the game. So I knew what I was getting into going into it. But I didn't know what the compensation was going to be like. I knew it wasn't going to be much, but
Right.
I just saw
It
an
wasn't a big
opportunity.
concern though.
No, I
It
just knew
wasn't
it was.
about the money. I mean, that's
No,
just
yeah,
it's just
exactly.
you getting out there and
Exactly.
getting to that next level.
Exactly. It was just, I saw an opportunity that could give me a better chance at getting to where I want to go and making my dream come true. So I jumped on it.
So how'd you do your first year? You went on to training camp. It's probably cold at that point for training camp,
Yeah.
up in the mountains there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Boone, North Carolina, baby. Yeah,
I
it was cold, but I mean, all of our practices were inside. We practiced in the App State Field House, which was really nice. So luckily, the only time we had to, get in the snow or get out in the cold was in between going in and out of the car. So
So how did training camp go, and then into the season?
it was good. Had a good training camp. Ended up starting my rookie year with them. And just took it from there, and it had a great experience, great opportunity. And again, I appreciate Coach Rez for the opportunity. And I was very like unknowledgeable of like the technique or like the real gameplay of arena football, because I the last time I had watched an arena football game was, I was like maybe like 10 at the Rochester Raiders game in Rochester.
Right.
So
Oh yeah.
it was nice
Man, you
having.
were only 10 back then. Man, I feel old.
Yeah, right. Like something like that. All I know is I was young, but it was nice having guys like Coach Rez, Coach Damian Daniels, who is like an arena football legend. I think he had 100, and I don't want to get mad at me for if I say the wrong number. I think it was like 110 or 115 interceptions in like 10 seasons.
Say
And
200 just to be safe.
so yeah, like 200. And he played the DS deep safety, and that's what I play. So having him there to really help me and guide me along and teach me the ins and outs of the position in the game really helped me learn so much faster than the average rookie coming in. So it
What
was
was
good.
what was your biggest adjustment that you had to make? Like, and not necessarily on the field either, just like overall, like this is your first pro contract. You're in a city that is kind of new to you. So what was that kind of like, and what adjustments did you have to make?
I think the biggest adjustment for me was probably like the physical gameplay, because I'm normally guarding someone who's stationary, you know what I mean? And I went from guarding someone who's stationary to running full speed at me. So I think that was the biggest adjustment. But once you really get the timing down and the flow and the speed of the game, because that's really what it is. I mean, everything happens so much faster than outdoors. So you got to make your reads quicker, your breaks quicker. Everything happens faster. So I think that was the biggest adjustment. And once I got that down, I think it was much smoother for me.
So you got through the season there. How do you rate your season? I mean, did you kind of like, were you where you thought you'd be? Were you disappointed?
I was definitely disappointed with how the season ended up for me. I think in the first 3 games, I had 4 interceptions. I think took 2 back for touchdowns. And in the beginning of our 4th game, I got kneed in the side in like the second quarter, and I got internal bleeding. And I missed,
Damn.
I couldn't even tell you how many games I missed. And then once I finally was healthy from this, I missed a few games from a different health issue that I had going on then. And at that point, a lot was going on behind the scenes, with the team. And, I just didn't feel at the time it was the best situation for me anymore. So I ended up leaving and going back to Florida to train. But I'm definitely grateful for the season. And looking back on it, like I think, I think the rookie of the year also played the same position, and I think he only ended up having 6 interceptions on the whole season. So that's the only thing I kind of look back at, and I'm like, yeah, if I stayed, what could have been, because I had 4 in the first 3 games. But I think, I'm a true believer in that everything happens for a reason. But again, like, that playing in high country against the guys I was every day in practice really set me up going forward with other teams in the future that I, worked out for or played with. If everyone watches arena football, they know who Malachi Jones is. And he's a great dude. He's one of my good friends. And I was going up against him every single day in practice. And, he was with some NFL teams. He's signed to the CFL, but he was, I think receiver of the year and rookie of the year 2 years in a row in AFL. So they really helped me to better my game and to help set me up for what comes next.
So what did come next? You went back to Florida to train, and then what?
So I went back to Florida to train. I actually, even though I only played, I think 4 games for the Grizzlies, I had good enough film to where I got reached out to by Alonzo Highsmith of the Green Bay Packers, who brought me out for a workout in Houston, and went out to there, did well. I think I ran like a 4.49 at that workout, and they ended up putting me on a short list for them for that season. In 2017 season, didn't end up getting called into camp or anything, didn't get a contract out of it, but just to be on teams' radars is, another step in the right direction, another, get your foot in the door. And then that following year, I ended up signing to go to Lehigh Valley to play for the Steelhawks. And then Coach Thompson had left to go to the Albany Empire. So he brought me with him out to Albany. Coach Keefe, Coach Moss brought me into camp. So the 2018 season, I started off with the Albany Empire.
Nice. And that's a big, another step up right there. And so, I mean, that's really kind of what it takes. And, I think the learning curve for arena football is really a good season or two. I mean, you really need that double digit game experience to start getting it. So you're kind of still kind of on the bubble as far as, the number of games, but you had an opportunity up there. What was that like? And what was kind of the differences between that and, the prior experience?
I think, first off, it was a great experience. Again, I learned a lot, and, you're surrounded by really, really good talent. So you either elevate to compete, or you find out if you don't belong. But gameplay wise, definitely much faster. The guys are bigger, and like I said, everything is much, much faster. So you definitely need to be on your P's and Q's. But it was a great experience. Did well, had a really good camp. I think 2018, I think I led the DBs and interceptions in camp. So it was a good camp for me, but they ended up still cutting me. But just to be in camp in the AFL, to see how it is, see what it's like, it was a really good experience. And that's something that I still have on the resume that, other teams will see that maybe not in that league, but that other leagues that you can go and play in and still get that good film that wants you to come play for them. So it really helped me out there.
Yeah, and the coaches all talk too. So I mean, the coaching network, and they all know each other. So they're like, hey, was this kid, is he a head case? Is he good? Can he play? Like, because sometimes it's just like teams are just so stacked, and somebody might not make training camp here, but they'd be a starter on that team.
Right.
And so
exactly.
It's kind of finding that right fit. And that gets to be a challenge. So you got cut after camp. Was there anywhere? Did you end up playing anywhere that season then, or you just were getting ready for next season?
So right after that, I got hit up by the Jersey flight coach, and was going to go out there. And I had gotten a phone call at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was sleeping, so I didn't get the voicemail to the next day. And it was actually the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, John Dorsey. And he left me a voicemail on my phone, said, hey, we saw
wake your ass up.
I know, right? I'm not a late night owl, so I don't try to stay up that late. Plus, it was a long day and just wanted to get some Z's after bad news. But he was like, "Hey, we saw some film on you. You know, we'd love to bring you in for a rookie mini camp workout." And I had called him the next day, and he didn't answer. Left a voicemail. I think I called him every day for I can't tell you how many long, but it was one of those, if you pick up, you probably are in camp with them. But if not, they're on to their next guy, and it sucks, but that's just how it happened. And from that point on, I ended up not playing in Jersey, but I went to the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks and played with them.
Okay. Was that NAL or what league? IFL?
Yes. Yeah, NAL.
Okay. How'd you do that season?
It was good. I mean, I played with the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks, I think the first 2 or 3 games. But got some good film out of it. Then I think after the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks, I actually went from there and I played with Coach Rez with the Atlanta Havoc for the last few games of their season that went up the national championship. So
the cool thing is, I mean, a lot of these coaches around the league.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, and like you said, the football world, especially the arena football world, small, and coaches know coaches, coaches talk. So,
and that's why everything you do is important. I mean, you can't just be a good player. I mean, you got to have your mind right. You've got to be, smart and make good decisions because none of the teams want a liability, off the field, or they don't want a locker room cancer. So, if you think these coaches don't communicate behind the scenes, you are mistaken. Because the league wants the best possible players and people representing it, throughout. And all the coaches and owners are on that same page. So it's all about getting that right fit, high quality player. And that's not to say you can't have made a mistake. I mean, I think most of the teams have shown that, they're open to giving guys a second chance, but those chances aren't, they're not unlimited. So just be smart and understand that it's a small circle. So keep that in mind. So after that season, you just got a call from the Browns this year. So was your mind like, man, I'm getting closer. I'm like I'm on the radar. Did you still think like I'm still going to keep playing arena football, or I want to just focus on getting to the NFL?
Well, at that point, I was like, okay, he just called me. There's a chance I could, really be getting brought into camp. So at that point, I had started to go back to Florida to train because I was like, man, I don't want to risk playing and getting hurt if they're really going to, give me an opportunity and bring me in. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to miss out on a chance to get more film. And, if they don't end up calling me, then it's like I don't want to miss a season. So that's when I ended up deciding to go out and play with Lehigh and bounce around from other few teams. But
yeah. How about the off season then?
So in the off season, I actually ended up signing with a new agent, an NFLPA. His name was Logan Brown. One thing that I was blessed with that when I came down to train in Orlando, I made some really, really good connections and some really good, friendships, guys that I now call brothers. One of those was Brandon Merriweather, a longtime NFL vet, played safety for the Patriots, Giants, Redskins, and he was the one who hooked me up with Logan. And Logan was with me for about, I think, a year or two. But once I signed with him was really when I was able to, take that another step and be able to really have contacts that are reaching out to these teams actively for me, which is a huge part of it. Because like you said, I mean, if they don't know who you are, they don't know who you are. So there's no way they can contact you or anything like that. So, so that off season, I think was when the AAF was coming in that year. And I had done a workout for the AAF. The Orlando Apollos went really well. Was texting their GM back and forth. And it was to the point where it's like, hey, just, look in your email. We're going to send you a contract over soon. And I'm, felt like I was reloading that thing for days. Never came through.
Refresh.
Right. Never came through. And again, that's just the nature of the business. So
So how does that, like, how do you cope with that? So like in one day you're going way up here because you're like, oh my God, I'm getting signed, and then you're waiting, it's like, you know, how do you get through that?
You know, it does suck. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, anyone who's been in my shoes, there's a lot of guys that have been around that knows that the feeling sucks. But you can either sit there and feel sorry for yourself and pout, or you can let it fuel your fire and just add another chip to your shoulder to go harder and prove them why they made the mistake by not signing you in the first place.
Yeah, that's kind of me. I like to be the
Right.
asshole and come back and like, yes,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna play against you and you're gonna regret it.
Right. I told you so, but it's too late now, you know?
Yeah.
So
you're back, Orlando.
mhm.
Did you go back to Albany? Did you have a second shot up there?
I did.
Okay.
They before that, I was supposed to go out and work out with the Patriots because Logan was talking to them for me, and it seemed really promising. Same thing, rookie contract, but same kind of deal. You know, didn't end up bringing me in. It went from all right, we'll bring you in week 2 to okay, week 4. Then next thing you know, okay, the whole season's gone.
Right.
But I was on their short list actually at receiver, ironically, for the whole season because I played both ways. So then I went to Albany again the following year, so 2 years in a row. Had another really good camp. I think led all the DBs. Me and Timo, who's the best, jack linebacker I think ever in arena football. I think me and him led camp with interceptions and had a really good camp. And the coaches just, did what they thought was best for the team and let me go, which I disagree.
So I was gonna say, like, how do you, like, I don't know, I guess the immature side of me is always like, wants to say some stuff, but obviously you can't, because it's tough when you feel like, man, there's no way they can cut me. There's no way. I did a great job, and I've been there, not necessarily on the playing side, but on the front office side, and it's like I have the mindset of, okay, well, F you.
Right.
Now you're gonna pay, and I don't know, that fuels me. So how, like, do you feel that, like, so like you see Albany Empire on the schedule as the season opener for the Predators? Are you like, oh man, I can't wait. I am gonna.
Yeah.
Coach know my name when I leave there.
Yeah. I mean,
and don't be politically correct on here either.
No, I got you. I mean, just to like talk a little bit about it, I definitely thought I had an even better camp with them my second year than the year prior. Also, I was one of the guys playing the middle that had the most experience out of anyone that they had brought in out of DBs in camp. And I think out of the DBs they brought into camp, only 2 others had arena experience. So knowing that going in, plus, the camp that I had a really good camp. I was confident, but at the same time, there was a little bit in me that was like, man, you never know. This is a professional sport. You never know. It's a business. So I was worried just because, at the end of the day, no matter how good you do, the decision's not in your hands. You know what I mean? So like, I'm over here asking like Timo, Malachi Jones, like all you guys, man, you think they're going to cut me again? Like, and they're like, no, bro, there's no way. If they cut you, they're crazy. No, you're good. Don't worry about it. And I'm over here stressing. And I think they started doing cuts at like 3:00. I'm sitting in my room, chilling out in the bed. It's like 6:30 and I'm like, okay, I think I'm good now. I can stop worrying. As soon as I thought that, my phone rang. Hey, it was Coach Moss. Hey, it's Coach Moss. Come bring your playbook. And I was like, man. And I'm not going to lie, like I started crying because you put everything into it, your blood, sweat, and tears. And it's not just, everything in camp. It's everything that's gotten you to that point.
Yep.
So yeah, it sucked and definitely put another huge chip on my shoulder, but I just how I am. I'll never talk bad on anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's
And,
Coach Perez, I mean, he's got a lot of positive stuff to say. Coach Keefe did last night, but I still go back to, you know what? Well, they passed you up, so
right,
kick their ass.
right. I mean,
Maybe
obviously,
not Coach Perez, but
obviously, like, I don't agree. I definitely think I could have been one of, if not their guy in the middle, like the best DB they had. But at the same time, like, I look at it as they still won a championship anyway. So does it really, to them, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they had how many all arena guys all over the field, especially on offense. So the way they were putting up points, I mean, even if their defense was giving up however many points a game, they're still winning games. So, but I mean, I still keep it cordial with Coach. I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, he's been in the arena game a while. Same with Coach Moss. But I mean, I was texting him. I told him I already got those games circled in red. So,
so when you maybe get a pick six, are you gonna would you go over and hand the ball to Coach Keefe or Moss?
No, I'm not. I'm not really like that. I mean,
all right.
I don't know. I mean, everything's different when you're in the moment, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not really too much of a showboating type anyway, so I just
it's not like they were disrespectful to you anyway. It sounds like it was a very tough decision for Keith, so it's not like he was like, oh, get out of here, you're garbage.
Right. But I don't know. I get that, but at the same time, like, when someone speaks so highly of you, but yet they still cut you, is it just BS or do you truly mean it? But no, I know. Coach Keith's a good dude, and I truly think he means it. So, I
think you have coaches that are both ways. Some coaches, it's the easiest way to get rid of somebody is just do that. But at the end of the day, he brought you into camp or bring you into camp, so they see something.
Exactly.
And I know how tough those decisions are. Being on the player personnel side, it's definitely tough, and especially when it's a good dude like you are. I mean, just from interacting with you a little bit, you could tell you're a good dude, and so
appreciate that.
Those are the type of people that you want on your organization. So that brings me to what made you decide to sign with Orlando?
It's just an opportunity to keep my professional career going. It's a storied franchise that's been around for a long time in Orlando. I want to, help be one of those players that puts them back on the pedestal that they were on for so long in arena football. And I've been here for 4 years now, going on 5 this coming, I think, June. And what better to, play professional sport that you love to play in the city you've called home for the past 4 years in a beautiful city. So I thought it was kind of a no-brainer. Reached out to Coach Bennett a while ago. They signed me for last season. Obviously, didn't play because of COVID. And then re-signed me for this year. And I'm just ready to, come in, earn a spot, and be that guy that they can rely on.
So what'd you do all off season? I mean, it's tough when you don't have a season to play. So how have you stayed fit and sharp?
During the pandemic, it obviously made it harder with everything being closed down. But I mean, you just gotta adapt, to the situation and your surroundings. And it was just a lot of different type of workouts. A lot of hills, stuff like that. Going to the beach, doing stuff on the beach. But just making yourself as ready as you can given the situation. And then luckily things started opening back up, so you're getting back to your regular routine, but just training, staying ready for that next opportunity, because you never know when it's going to come.
You train with any of the other guys on the team? Is there anybody else local?
There's a couple other guys that are local, but I haven't done any training with them yet. But I think me and Junior DeVoe are going to get up soon and do some routes and some one-on-one stuff like that, just to get ready for the season.
Yeah, no, I mean the weather's getting kind of good to get out and get some running. And I like to ask a couple of fun things. Number one is you're from Rochester. Salvatore's Pizza. Have you ever had that?
I have.
Do you like it, or?
I do actually. It's funny because whenever we do get pizza, that's the pizza that we get when I'm back home. So.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. So Soccer Sam, the owner, he he owns the indoor soccer team that would go play. So I've known Sam for a while, and I always see his stuff on Facebook all the time. So a lot of people from Rochester know that place. So I had to ask. So what's your favorite place to eat here in Central Florida?
I would say one of my favorite places to eat is God, what road is that? I think it's off of 192. So when I first came down to train, I was staying at this place called Regal Oaks, and right across the street from there, there's like this like 15 to 20 food trucks, and it's all like
by Old
food
Town?
from other food. Yeah, right by
Right
Old
across the
Town.
street?
Yeah, I love Spanish food. I love authentic Spanish food, whether it's Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican. I love going over to the food trucks and getting that authentic Spanish cuisine. So I'll probably say that.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. I've seen that, and there's like just a ton of them.
Oh, it's so good too. You definitely got to try it.
Yeah. So what do you like to do outside of, play football and work out?
I love to golf. I'm a golfer.
Pretty good, or?
I mean, not terrible. I mean, if I have a bad day, I'm shooting, low to mid 90s. If I have a good day, I'm shooting mid 80s. I have a really good day, low 80s. So, but I mean, it's all how often are you out there playing? You know what I mean?
Do you play a lot?
I haven't played probably in like 3 weeks now. But before I was playing like 3 times a week. So the scores were much better when I was playing 3 times a week.
I'm so good that I count how many balls I lose. That's how I keep score.
Right.
And my wife and I, we used to play a lot. We were members at a club up in St. Louis, and so we would play a couple times a week. We'd go real early, that way I could still get to the office before lunchtime.
Right.
And, I haven't played in the last couple of years, but man, I've got I look like I'm on tour. Like I've got like the outfits, the golf clubs, the bag. Like
you're ready to go.
Yeah, when we go, people are like, "Damn, these guys look legit," until we start swinging, and then they're like, "What's your favorite course in Central Florida here?"
My favorite course that I've played, although my scores have been the highest at this course, is probably Isleworth Country Club.
Okay, real nice.
Yeah.
One of the nicest country clubs probably around here. Yeah. And it's a different,
very challenging.
Yeah. Isleworth is where, Shaq has a house. Tiger Woods got, beat up by his wife. A lot of pro golfers live in there. Some NBA guys. So it's pretty nice. Have you ever played Celebration? It's public, but it's probably the nicest public course I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a nice course. It's a nice track.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Randy's got a shout out here for your guys.
Hey, appreciate that, Randy.
Do you know Randy?
Yeah. He's from back home, Avon.
Nice.
Sure.
All right, how about movies? Are you a movie guy?
Gosh, as of late, I have not been, but I do quote a lot of movies in my everyday conversations with people, just out of habit. So I would say yes, still.
What give me some, what are the quotes? What movies are you quoting?
Oh gosh, now I won't be able to think of one because you put me on the spot. It's just random quirky stuff. I couldn't even tell you but
comedies are your main thing?
Yeah, I love comedies. Comedies are my go-to. So
Coach Rez wants to know what wide receivers you're looking forward to playing against. There's a lot of great ones in the NAL.
I just saw that Devin Wilson signed a contract, and I would say he's number 1 on the list that I'm excited to go back up against.
Where'd he play? What's his deal?
When I played him, he was playing for the Maine Mammoths. And then when I was out in Jacksonville for very short time, but he was a receiver out there as well. But great receiver, great passion for the game, and the kid can ball. So I love going against the best competition possible because, again, you either elevate your game to match what you're going against, or you fall on your face. So, but we had some good battles when I was in Lehigh, and he was Maine. So definitely looking to going against him again.
What's cool is once you kind of been in it a few years too, it's like, you build some relationships with players from around the league, and some are like competitive, some are not good, some are good,
Right.
but
Yeah.
like the good players, they have that mutual respect for each
Right.
other. They know that going up against each other brings out the best in both of them, and
Exactly.
and that's what we want to see. We want to see the
Mhm.
the top of the top every game. We don't want to see
Right.
100 and something to nothing
Yeah.
scores.
No, that's no fun for anybody.
Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Got some other people chiming in here. Michael, I don't know if you know any of these guys.
Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, my man. That's another thing too, is I just want to be able to inspire kids to have the same dream that I had, to show them that it is possible. No matter what anyone else from the outside is saying. Everyone could be saying no, but as long as you tell yourself yes and you put the work in to get there, you can make it happen. And like my dad said earlier, he's always preaching me, if you believe it, you can achieve it. So that's something I've always lived by.
Well, and I like the fact that, when you and I talked a few weeks ago, you were really open to getting involved in the community,
Hmm.
which I think is a huge part of it. It's not just
Absolutely.
playing, it's not just, going out there and doing that because
Mhm.
um, whether you want to be or not, I mean, you're a professional football player, and
Exactly.
people look up to you,
Mhm.
and you're a big deal to the community and to the fans. So I know you're going to be participating in a golf outing coming up,
Yep.
so that should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. It's for helping hands, helping give back to foster kids. And that's something that, that specific thing resonates with me because my dad grew up in foster care, was in, 6 or 7 different foster homes. So he, tells me the struggles he went through. So anything that I can help to do, with kids that are going through the same type of journey that my dad went through, I'll do. And growing up, I was also, involved in the community in Rochester. Helped out at the Rochester Boys and Girls Clubs a lot. With my dad, our family would, go together and help Christmas dinners. Someone would dress as Santa. We'd all get toys, donate toys. Same thing with Thanksgiving. Put on Thanksgiving meals. So anything you can do to help someone that's less fortunate than you should always do what you can. Obviously, you can't always, but if you have the means, you can do it if you can. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because sometimes it's like the smallest things that
Hmm.
you do that make such a huge difference.
Right.
But I know especially with the kids, just letting them know that there's hope, you
Exactly.
know, and and trying to be positive because there's so much negativity in our world,
Hmm.
right now with, you can't even turn the news on with it. It's like nothing but negative,
Hmm.
press. Somebody killed, somebody robbed, somebody
Right.
raped, nothing. And so it's easy to be down, and I think the kids really need something to kind of look up to and do that. So I was excited to hear that you were going to get involved with that fundraiser, um, and you know have some fun at the same time. So hopefully
Absolutely.
we get some of the kids out to some of the games and
Oh, for sure.
involved with a bunch of stuff. So
Definitely.
um, but yeah. So anything else kind of on your mind going into this upcoming season?
Hey, appreciate that, Randy. I really do, man. Appreciate it. Sorry, what was your question?
Got some good fans out there, man. You got some fans.
Yeah, that's one
Um,
thing that I've been again very blessed. I've had, so much support from not just, my town of Avon, but Livingston County is almost like its own little home. Like it's not very big, so a lot of people know, everybody. Growing up, like all, when we come back from college, it wouldn't just be the Avon kids partying with the Avon kids during the summer. It was like Avon, Geneseo, Leroy, Calmum, like York. It was like all over. So being able to have support and people rooting for you from all over is a blessing, and I'm very thankful for that.
so when you make it, are you going to delete my phone number? Like when I hit you up for tickets when you made it, I mean, I'm going to get some field passes, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Uh,
Got you.
And I'm gonna play this recording back. Like I'm gonna save it for you. So no, I mean,
evidence right there.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
No, well, last few questions,
Mhm.
and this is for the fans. How about can you cook? Do you like to cook?
I do like to cook, and I can cook.
Okay. What's your kind of you have a specialty?
I do have a specialty, and it's my salmon.
Okay. How do you cook it?
I tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Oh, okay. Is it?
No,
Can you tell me? Is it like grilled, baked?
So I mean, I do it like 2 different ways. I mean, 3 technically. I mean, I either put it in the oven, cook it in the pan, or put it in tinfoil on the grill. But most of the time, for convenience and speed purposes, I do it in the pan. But I'll put it in a plastic bag, and I put like all my olive oil, garlic. I'm not gonna go into all the seasonings, but put it in there, put it in a bag for a few hours, and then hey, shout out Andrew.
Yeah. Hey.
Then I let it, marinate in the fridge for a little while. Then I'll cook it later in a pan with some rice. Got to squeeze the lemon on top afterwards. But yeah, that. And then there's a pasta that I like to make that's like a sun-dried tomato garlic shrimp scampi that my uncle's an amazing cook. Like, this guy can cook anything you can think of, and it's always the best. Like, I'll go out to like 4 or 5 star restaurants and get the same thing that my uncle makes, and it'll taste like crap compared to what he makes. So
Really?
yeah, I'm always telling him he needs to open up a restaurant or be a head chef somewhere, because he's too talented not to be cooking somewhere.
So what's your side dish with your salmon then?
I like Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. Okay.
Brussels sprouts, seasoned Brussels sprouts, or I'll go with like a spinach and like a olive oil with a little vinegar with diced up onions.
I'm thinking you should cook for like the first week of like training camp or something like that. And then as part of NAL Live, I need to come over
Right.
and make sure you guys are cooking it up right.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have all the energy for that during camp, but I'm sure I'll finesse something during the season for the guys. So
No, man, that's great. I'll tell you what, it was great. It's great chatting with you. Great getting to know you more. I mean,
absolutely,
you've got such a positive attitude, and it's inspiring. So keep that up, and make sure that you pass that on.
absolutely, we'll
Pass that
do,
on
and
to the kids, and even to your teammates. And
absolutely.
it'll be better. And then I'm excited to kind of see Orlando
Hmm.
Predators as they're on the upswing. Kind of
Absolutely.
get things like football and business. Just
For
get
sure,
back to its glory days. So
100%.
keep up the good work, and appreciate you joining me next week. We're going to have owner of Ontario,
Awesome.
Patrick will be on, and we'll be having another coach on that we'll be announcing this week. So please get us some feedback on NAL Live. But thanks again, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Appreciate you bringing me on. Just want to give a couple shout outs again. I want to, shout out my parents, my family, Coach Engler, Coach Vaz, a couple of my coaches, and anyone that has helped me get to where I am along the way. Friend, former player, former coach, whoever you are. I appreciate you guys for being a part of my journey, and I'm looking forward to adding a few more pages to some chapters, and doing it big in some red and black, and getting the Predators back to where they were. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and Coach Stabler, I don't know if you know Coach yet, but number
Oh
one,
no, I haven't met him yet.
great dude too. So it's like great that he's part of the Predator family. Great dude, great coach,
Awesome.
just a great person. So you're gonna love him. But
Can't wait.
he's
Looking
excited.
forward to meeting you, Coach.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.